Hello everybody and welcome back to the Train Brothers Railway. Today we are going into the U25B, the rear motor block, because if you remember in our previous video, and if you haven't seen that, check out the card right now, because this train and this motor block in the rear end had a grinding noise which didn't sound too good at all. So we're going to open it up and see if there's any damage or what the cause of it is. So stay tuned, I'm going to get set up here and we'll be right into it. Okay, so I've flipped the train upside down. I've got this nice thick blanket to protect all the pretty stuff underneath. And I've got it upside down, and as this is a Aristocraft train, I'm not too familiar with the trucks, so I decided to start pulling it apart off camera. I originally started taking out these guys to see if I could just lift the lid to see all the gears, but I couldn't. So I had to take off the side rails here and pay special attention to this little guy here. It's like a little terminal, if I can get it to focus, a little terminal wire that goes on the screw with this guy here. There's 3 screws that hold this on. There's one there, and then one over there at the same thing. I thought this was kind of cool as well. It is true suspension for the wheels on the trucks, which is kind of neat. And this is just the outside of the truck there that I've pulled off. So this is the motor block. I'm going to try and pull this out now and we're going to see what it's like. Okay, so I got the motor block out and I cracked it open and took a look at everything. This here is like the direct drive side, and that thing looks pretty good and it's all greased up, so that's fine. In here I cracked this guy open here, and there's another worm gear and a spur gear in there, and that looked all good. There was plenty of grease in that. And then there's this little drive shaft here, and there's actually a little pin right there, if you can see it, at the end of the tip of my screwdriver right there. And this has a set screw on it, and it was set back too far, and that little pin, you can kind of see right on the shaft there, was just missing enough, and it was grinding, and you can kind of see it's worn right there on a 45. So that there was grinding on itself, which was making the horrible noise. So there's actually screws here on the end of each side of the truck, and that kind of positions the shaft in the truck. So I've aligned everything up in there. It's nice and tight. I opened this up, made sure all that was all good in that gearbox there. And then when I go to put this back on, I'll align it all nicely, make sure there's good mesh on the gears there, and I should be able to put the top back on and it'll be ready to go back on the rails. A couple things I also forgot to mention was, one, to test to make sure that the motor bearings were still okay, I just used a 9-volt and a scrap piece of wire that I had, and I was just very careful on putting it on the terminals of the motor and onto the terminals of the battery just to make sure that it was running, because I didn't want to plug it in to the locomotive and then try and power it that way. So I just made sure it was 9-volt DC, very important, and I was able to test the motor. And another thing too is, especially with this being my first time into an Aristocraft truck, pictures are your best friends for anything, whether it be inside the locomotive or inside of the motor block. It's really foolproof and easy. Just take as many pictures as you need so that you're able to see what's what and how it went back together. I do it a lot of things for not just trains. It's really helpful and really useful. But other than that, I'm going to mount this back up into the train, and it should be good to go and ready to go on the rails. So until next time, guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, take care, take it easy, and see you guys later.